that feeling when you're being watched? That prickle on the back of your neck? Imagine feeling that every time you look out your window. That was my life. I'd moved to this new room to get away from things, to try and breathe again. But my eyes always went to the same spot. That house on the hill. It sat there like a rotting skull against the sky, all crumbling shingles that looked like jagged teeth and windows like empty black sockets. It was a monster of a building, and it was calling me. I fought it for days, just watching it from my window. But one night, the wind was howling like a funeral song, and I just couldn't fight it anymore. I had to know what was up there. Walking up that driveway was the hardest thing I've ever done. The gravel crunched so loud under my boots I thought for sure whatever was inside would hear me coming. The garden was dead, just thorns and twisted branches that grabbed at my clothes like bony fingers. The front door was hanging open, just waiting, and when I stepped inside, God, the smell. It was cold and musty, sure, but underneath that was something else, something sharp, metallic, like old, dried blood. It made my stomach turn. Inside was just as bad. Dust everywhere, thick gray carpets of it, cobwebs hanging in the corners like old lace. I went up the main staircase, slowly, terrified of making a sound. The shadows up there felt heavy, like they were pressing in on me. And then I found the nursery. It was the only room in the house that wasn't falling apart. It was perfectly preserved, like time just stopped. There was a little wooden rocking horse, paint all chipped, a dusty dollhouse. But it was the dolls that got me, dozens of them lining the shelves, porcelain faces, dead glass eyes, all staring at nothing. That metallic smell, it was overpowering in here. I should have run right then, but I didn't. I reached out and touched one of them. Its skin was ice cold, and the second I touched it, the house woke up. I heard this moan, deep and guttural, coming from under the floorboards. Then a scraping sound, like something heavy dragging itself. The smell got so strong I gagged, and in the corner of the room the shadows started to move. They thickened, twisted into a shape. I couldn't see it clearly, but I could feel the pure hate radiating off it. A low growl vibrated right through the floor and into my bones. That broke the spell. I panicked. I stumbled back, knocked over a chair. It sounded like a bomb going off in that quiet house. I spun around, desperate for a way out, and I saw a crack in the wall, a hidden panel. I squeezed through it, didn't care that the rough stone was tearing my skin. I just had to get away from that growl. I ended up in a tiny, pitch-black cellar. I huddled there for hours, terrified, just listening to water drip and praying that thing wouldn't find me. When the silence finally came back, I ran. I ran all the way home, but I knew, even then, that the darkness hadn't stayed in the house. It had followed me. I tried to tell people. The police looked at me like I was hysterical. They did a 5-minute drive-by and told me it was just an old empty house. Typical. So I did the only thing I could think of. I went to the local kids. You know the type, teenagers who love ghost stories and daring each other to do stupid things. They knew about the house. Their leader, this sharp girl named Sarah, she actually believed me. She dug up old newspapers about the family that used to live there, about how they all went mad. They agreed to go back with me, God knows why. Maybe they thought it was a game. It wasn't. We went in through a second-story window this time. The doll room was still there, waiting. One of the kids, Mark, turned pale the second we stepped inside. We found another hidden room, this one on the ground floor. It was full of journals and old papers. We started reading, and it was a nightmare. The father had been obsessed with alchemy, with living forever. He'd done experiments, twisted, horrible experiments, and he'd created something. We found a box of photos too. They showed the family slowly losing their minds. Hollow eyes, terrified faces, and then the last few photos, they showed it. A creature, small, with skin like tarnished silver and glowing eyes, trapped in a metal cage. As we looked at that photo, the growling started again, right beneath us. Then came the scream. It wasn't from us, it was from the cellar, a shriek of pure agony that I still hear in my sleep. Mark just lost it. He started hyperventilating, and then, out of the shadows, it came. The thing from the photo, but bigger now, meaner. It moved like spilled mercury, fast and fluid. Its eyes were like two burning coals. It lunged at us, claws swiping. Sarah shoved Mark out of the way, but it still caught his arm, tearing right through his clothes. He screamed and we were trapped. It was between us and the only way out. We were dead. I knew it. But then, a miracle. A loud crash from upstairs, maybe a rotted floorboard finally giving way. The creature froze, its head snapping up toward the noise. That split second was all we needed. We ran blindly, smashing through rotten doors, tumbling out a broken window into the overgrown garden. We didn't stop until our lungs were burning and the house was just a dark speck behind us. We survived, but we didn't escape. Not really. Mark's arm healed, but he's afraid of the dark now. Sarah, who was so brave, she jumps at every little noise. And me, I'm still watching that hill. We looked into the abyss, and it looked right back at us. That house isn't just empty, it's waiting. And I know someday it's going to call again.